Hello everybody and welcome back. Today's block is also going in my Delightful sampler. I decided to name it Delightful. Let me show you a picture. It's got a bunch of blocks in it. So that's the quilt I'm making. So we've done a good bit of them. A few more to go. For this one, it's called Road to Oklahoma. And for that, you're going to need 4 fabrics, A, B, C, and D. Out of all of them, you're going to need, okay, it's different amounts, I guess. So A, you're going to need 2 that are 3.5-inch squares. B, you're going to need 4 3.5-inch squares. C, you will need 4 3.5-inch squares and 2 4-inch squares. Excuse me. And D, you'll need 2 3.5-inch squares and 2 4-inch squares. So these actually are already ready. They just need to be regular squares. We're going to lay them up there. These, however, we're going to turn into half square triangles. So that is your 4-inch squares. You should have 4, and it will be 2 of each. We're going to lay them face to face, right sides together, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to draw a line on either side of the middle that is a 1/4 inch. I'm just going to spin it because it's easier for me to do it that way. Line that back up. Draw it again. Do the same thing on this one. And again, I don't like the awkwardness. We're just going to spin it. So that is going to be what we're going to call your sew line, even though we're going to sew just a hair on the inside of it. So now we're just going to sew straight down the inside of both these lines. So these are cut, the computer program generated 3 7/8, but I did it a little bit bigger. So we have a little wiggle room on it. Grab the other one. Spin it around there. I'm going to cut the first one off. Alright. Now we are going to cut them apart. Where is my long roller? Found it. Line that up corner to corner. Cut it straight down. Oh, just snip it in a minute. Same thing here. Looks like that skips just a couple of threads every time it rolls around that one side. Let's bring our mat back over. We're going to iron these to the dark side. And now we're going to trim them down. And we want them to be the same size as these, which is 3.5 inches. So let me get my spinning mat. I'll be right back. Okay, I went ahead and trimmed 3 of them because you don't need to watch or want Charlie to watch me do it 3 times. So we're going to line up our diagonal line on our stitch line, seam line, just straight down there. And I want to make sure that it hangs over the 3.5 mark here and that there's overlap at the top and side. That way, and I got the spinning mat, but I'm not going to use it for this because, well, I needed to brush that away anyway. So now we're going to line up the diagonal again, but this time we want to line up the 3.5 inch line, point, and bottom line. And that will give us a perfect 3.5 inch square. Let's put this over there. Now let's lay out our block. We're done with this. And we're going to put, this was A. A is going to go in the top left and bottom right. These are going to surround it on both sides, just like that, like a bow tie or whatever you want to call it, on both sides. There we go. And then our green ones, which is B, will go straight down the middle, diagonally, starting at the top right, ending at the bottom left. The blue will go here, so it forms this, I don't know what that block is called. I'll think of it later. And then our red go in the remaining spots. So now we're just going to sew it into rows and then into the block. So we're going to start here and I'm going to sew these together, but I'm also going to come over here and sew these together because it's faster and I don't have to cut all those off and then do that one. I can go ahead and get all these done and then I'll sew these two together into rows and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to sew that up real quick. It's all just straight line sewing. I'm going to sew it real quick and I'll be right back. Alright, I got them all mixed up now because that's what I did. But it's okay. So we're going to iron the half square triangle in, so the top piece is going to go to the left, which means this one is also going to go to the left because it is the top right. And then the second one is going to go to the left. And that also takes them away from the half square triangle. And then the third one will go to the right. And then the left. And then we'll start back up here. This one is this one, which will go to the right. And the left, which again is not the half square triangle. And the right. So all the top row and the third row are going to the left. And the second and fourth row are going to the right. Then you'll lay it back out and you want to make sure it's right. I do have my picture right here beside me, so I can confirm it is how it's supposed to be. So now we're just going to sew our 2 sets into rows. And sure, you can come with me for that. We're just going to step next to my space here. next one. And next. And last one. Now I'm going to cut them into 2 sets because that's how I'm going to sew them. So this one will go the other way. You're going to keep with the same pattern. So this is the first and third row. No, it's not. It's the first and second row. And we're going to actually fold this down, and I'm going to go ahead and pin this before we do the others. Because I know it goes together because I didn't cut it apart. And I sewed them in order. So I pin at each of the seams. That one should nest nicely since it is attached. And the rest, if I've done my cutting and measuring right, should also. Let me slide that up. And then I'm going to put one in the beginning because we have more work to do before we go sew it. Now, this is the bottom piece. Top right, or top left, bottom other way. Right. Yeah, it's fine. We're going to iron these again, keeping with the same way we ironed them before. And then we're just going to fold it over also and pin. Prep for sewing. And this one I'm just gonna, actually I will pin it because I'm gonna sew the other one first because it's the top, and I like to keep it kind of in order. Second half. Now these actually should be identical, and I am just going to iron them to whatever side. I guess I'll iron them all up to keep it more, I guess I did that opposite. but I did it on both, so it worked out. Alright, lay it back out. Make sure you're doing it correctly. We'll fold it down. And generally start in the middle. I know I didn't on the 2 rows there I'm putting together, but generally I pin in the middle first, or I guess the last seam. But it doesn't matter. Pin it however you want. Don't pin it at all if you want. See, there's where I messed up though, because I pinned it, or I ironed it wrong. But it's okay. It's not the first mistake I've made, and it won't be the last. Let's go sew it. Let me see if I got a... I do have a... And then we'll iron this one whatever way it goes. So there it is. It is called Road to Oklahoma. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you make it and love it, and I will see you all next time. Have a great day.